Mike's on. He'll get you the sports any way that he can. It's Mike Francesa on the Fan. Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN.
From the studios of WFAN, this is Mike's on Francesa on the Fan on this Wednesday program, the 4th day of October. As we look ahead to the Yankees and the Indians, and last night, I have to admit, for the first time in a very long time, it felt like October at Yankee Stadium. It really did. It was a wild game. It was a weird game. Got off to such a crazy start. It was a tremendous job by Joe Girardi. He did a great job last night. He was his one of his team's real stars last night. And there was some things done early in that game that were absolutely pivotal. And like I said, the crowd was into it. The stadium was electric. You could sense the energy in the team. There's a new energy in that team. There's a swagger in that team. So you saw some good things last night that'll be built upon whether or not they are able to handle what is a tremendous Indian team. And the Yankees deserve to be the underdog. They are. So all that is, as you would expect, Cleveland's for tomorrow. For the most part, we'll do a little of it today. But this is more about last night first off, and then we'll look ahead. You got a game tonight in the NL. You got the wild card game. First off, there was a lot of pressure last night, and nobody felt it more than Severino, who was absolutely awful. Just could not get anything under control. And here's where there were pivotal things that happened that really set that game up. And they were all early. Girardi's decision to yank Severino when he did and not go to the conventional starting pitcher in that spot to save him some innings and, extend the game there, to go to a strikeout artist, to go to one of his premier relievers in that spot was an absolute brilliant stroke. Not only to save those 2 runs because you're staring at a 5-0 deficit, which is an enormous deficit in a playoff game, especially in a one-game setting. But on top of that, just to put some doubt into a Twins bench that was rocking. That was... you could see them. The Twins got so high in that first inning. They were so excited. I happened to be sitting there, their bench, so we could see their dugout, and they were going crazy. And you had to put some doubt and basically put some swings and misses into that lineup. To do that with Green right off the bat was an absolutely gutty move. It was a great move. It was a really an out-of-the-box move when you think about it, to use a guy that's really set up for later in the game. Does that, gets that, and then the bottom of the inning, the Yankees respond. I thought one of the biggest things is the fact that Santana walked. After getting a 3-0 lead, he walks the first batter. Is a devastating move in that game. Absolutely killed Santana. That he walks Girardi. And the home plate umpire had a very narrow strike zone all night. You could tell both teams weren't happy with that, but he did for both teams. And then, of course, Didi's home. And here we've talked about Didi time and time again. I wanted Didi up in that spot. I did not want him to walk in that spot. I thought he would respond in that spot. I really did. I told the people I was with that he would respond in that spot. I thought he'd get a big hit there. And he ties the game up, which all of a sudden, everything that happened, the Yankees now are on solid ground. They're back on even ground. And even more than that, because now their pen, they got a 3-3 game. Santana's struggling. He winds up throwing 42 pitches in the inning. He's not long for the game. You know that now. It's a battle of bullpens, and one bullpen is woefully short, and the other bullpen is loaded. So it is a wonderful setup from there. And then from Green, who I thought he went a little far with. I would not have come out that last inning with Green. I would not have done that. I thought he was done the inning before. I told everyone that I was sitting with that. I thought that. Joe pushed him and then put Robinson in a very tough spot, and Robinson was the other hero. Green was a hero. Didi was a hero, and then Robinson was an enormous hero and comes out and gets out of that inning without a lot of blood, just one run on the fielder's choice, gets out of that inning, and then puts on a tremendous display. And the one thing, and then from there we know what went on. We know what went on. The other at bat, of course, being the Canely bat to Mao, which I wasn't in love. I didn't like the matchup. And when he hit it, I couldn't see Gardner. He left my view from where I was sitting. I thought the ball was a home run when he hit it, Mauer. I thought the game was tied. And luckily it wasn't. I saw later where the ball landed. And after that, it was easy for Chapman, who gave up just the Mauer single in the last inning. And a tremendous game. The Yankees got it from the people they need to get it from. They got it from the bullpen. They didn't get it from Severino, and now he'll have some doubt as he goes into his next start. Clearly, he learned what the playoffs are about. It's a whole different world, but he'll grow from that. He'll learn from that. No question. The Yanks bailed him out. It was nothing. It happens. I mean, it happens. It's happened to the best of them. And Joe was quick to rectify the situation. Gardner did the job. Judge did the job. And Judge looked very comfortable, very much in control in the playoff setting, and that's a big part of being in the playoff. Sanchez did the job at the bat, struggled a little bit behind the plate again, and Didi did the job. So they got it from 1, 2, 3, 4. They got it from the bullpen, and they go on against a team they had to beat. They were vastly superior to that team. They showed that a million times last night, and now they go play a team that they're not as good as. You know what? Now they got a puncher's chance against a team that's a tremendous team, even almost a borderline great team. And it will be a very fun series starting tomorrow in Cleveland. We don't know how the Yankees started yet. We know that what was already announced with the Indians, Bauer in Game 1, Kluber in Game 2, and on. From there, as Game 1 is 7:30 tomorrow night in Cleveland, Game 2 will be 5 o'clock on Friday in Cleveland. And then the scene will shift back to Yankee Stadium on Sunday and Monday, after what was a tremendous night for the Yankees. A game that makes this year stand up and be an enormous year for this team, enormous building block for this team. Now they got into this series. They're playing with house money. They got past the game they couldn't lose. They did it. They faced some pressure in that game. They faced some adversity in that game and came out and did some really tremendous things, showed some you know what they did? They did what they've done all year. They've struck guys out of the bullpen, and they've hit home runs, which is what the Yankees are about, and that's what they did last night. They hit home runs, and they struck guys out of the bullpen. 13 guys they struck out of the bullpen last night, and they hit their home runs, as you've seen. And Green talked about last night having to slow it down, and that is, in essence, what you'll hear from anybody who's good in the postseason, the idea of slowing it down. We talked about that yesterday because you've heard guys who have been so successful in the postseason talk about that a million times. Slow it down, and just get it under control. And he did that, and his performance was absolutely sensational. I mean, clutch. Same thing for Robinson. Same thing for Didi with the big, just so big, the 3-run homer. Great game for the manager, and a really one that sets this season up as a tremendous comeback season, and one that will, without question, no matter where it ends, allow the Yankees to build from it. They have a nucleus to build on. They have some very good young players to build around, no matter what happens this year. And now they can go into this series, play fast and loose, give it their best shot, do everything they can, and just let the chips fall where they may. No pressure, no problems against a tremendous Indian team. So a wonderful night at the stadium all the way around. A different game, a crazy game, a raucous game, a game that took forever. I mean, absolutely forever. But, hey, it happens. You go there at 8, you get out at 12. I mean, that's the way it goes as the last out is registered. Chapman looked good last night, gave up the base hit, through the shortstop hole for Mauer. Other than that, he looked very good doing his job. And the Yankees get that hard-fought, emotional, exciting 8-4 win. And a lot of the young people who are at that stadium for the first time and haven't lived through those Yankee moments, that's like how it felt around here 20 years ago. That's how it felt around here in 96, 98, 2000. It did have some of that last night. It's a little different. It's a different cast of characters. It's a different kind of team. but the game has changed dramatically in that period of time. But the brand of excitement, the way the place rocked last night, the ability to come from behind and answer even when things don't get off to good starts, which was always a Yankee trait, was very much evident last night. And from that standpoint, it was everything you could have hoped for last night and more. A wonderful, wonderful October night at Yankee Stadium, and now a fun series. And this will be a fun series. And that's how the Yankees have to embrace this. Don't worry about the fact that this team's got, what it has. This is a legitimately terrific baseball team. That's fine. Go out there. Give it everything you got. Go out there and measure yourself against this team. Measure yourself against the best. See where you are. It might come up short. Absolutely, a very good chance it might come up short. The odds make it say you'll come up short. But it'll be something they can build on, and who knows? They always have a chance. This team's good enough to get this done. They're good enough if the starting pitching responds. And that's a big if against the Indians. But if the starting pitching can respond, then I think they have a chance. Is it a great chance? Listen, this other team, you got to be realistic. They're a very good team. They're a very talented team. They've had a tremendous finish to this season. They have terrific pitching. They have the best pitcher in the league, going to pitch twice in the series. So there's a lot to tackle there. But this team is in a wonderful position to take their best shot at it. And one thing that was very obvious last night, in a night when it was bullpen all hands on deck, something we talked about yesterday, but Betances doesn't have a role. I mean, that's very obvious now. Joe was very reluctant, even in a game where he needed him, was very reluctant to show him anything yesterday, which, if you're Betances, has to be ringing pretty hard today. But didn't surprise me even in a little bit. So the guys who are young and are taking it a little on the chin, like Betances, like Severino, you know what? Got to grow, got to learn from it, get a little tougher, get a little better. That's the bottom line. And it was a big night for some other Yankees. A big night for Girardi, big night for Robertson, big night for Green, big night for Judge, big night